founder and CEO of JetSetter. So, Drew, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about you and your background, and then how JetSetter came to be.
Sure, I came to JetSetter having spent 5 years at kayak.com, and before that I'd spent a bit of time at Starwood Hotels. And the background of the company was really born out of the success of Gilt Group. Gilt was really taking off last year, and it's clear that this kind of member commerce model had something to it, and it was particularly interesting for I think discretionary lifestyle businesses where taste and fashion sensibility is critical to the consumer. And travel seemed like it might be an extension that consumers on Gilt might be interested in things in travel. That was ultimately kind of the genesis of what we did here.
And then the unlikelihood that someone doesn't know what Gilt is, it's flash sales for consumer brands. Is that a good way to put it?
I think luxury brands.
Luxury brands. Better than fashion brands. And so
it's not mass market.
So the idea with Gilt is you're a member, you have to be a member, you get an email every day, and there's a limit to the things that you have an opportunity to purchase luxury brands for a period of time and inventory, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the channel as a whole is a great marketing resource. That's really the positioning of it. It's a way for consumers to discover or get access to things that they otherwise wouldn't see. So in our case, we'll have a limited number of sales, typically 10 to 15 every week, and we'll have a finite amount of inventory. So unlike lots of other channels where you have effectively unlimited access to whatever the products happen to be, we've got a finite amount of rooms, we've got a finite number of hotels that we're selling or travel experiences that we're selling. And then as a consumer, you're sort of constantly exposed to new things. We spend a fair amount of time and energy and money in telling stories and helping to explain the uniqueness or particularity of those places. But part of the value for the consumer is that sense of discovery of new things. And of course, there's the ability to get access to these things at prices that otherwise wouldn't be available.
Is there, before this, because you were a kayak for a really long time, where I imagine you saw all kinds of really interesting travel opportunities, which, it's very purposeful, right? If a room doesn't get filled, that's it, it's off the market. So I imagine there's a lot of hunger on the other side from the luxury travel market to fill these rooms. And how about first class, airlines? Does it work as well?
Definitely something we've looked at. Air has its own complexities. It's somewhat different than travel or than other forms of travel. But I think there's two ways to look at the business that we put together. One is, of course, we help suppliers liquidate inventory. These rooms are distressed; they otherwise wouldn't get sold. I think the second, more interesting way to think about what we're doing is really as a marketing channel that helps them with customer acquisition. So in addition, you can think about Priceline, for example, as a distribution channel, right? It's a way for travel suppliers to get access to a different slice of the demand curve that they otherwise wouldn't see. You can segment out a highly price elastic customer who otherwise didn't exist. Yeah. What we're doing, I think, is very different. What we're doing is we're introducing suppliers and we're looking at consumers to an experience that they hadn't previously seen before. And so, we have heavily editorialized emails. We have very rich photographic display. We spend a lot of money on primary research and making sure that we're telling consumers a sort of true-to-life story and helping them appreciate whether it's insider knowledge or access or experiences they wouldn't have otherwise seen.
And I think I like the way you said it, the contrast between kayak, which is breadth. You want to be able to discover everything in one place without having to look for it. JetSetter is contrasting in that you're hand-picking the partners with whom you want to create these opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think editorial or curatorial judgment seems to be a word in favor these days. Is at the heart of a lot of these new models. And I think what you've seen is, on the one hand, there's so much information out there. You've got Google, Kayak, TripAdvisor, truly a range of very powerful search engines that are premised on the idea that consumers know what they want and can put together queries that help them discover that information. And I think on the other end of the spectrum, this is solidly where we fall, is for certain kinds of lifestyle categories, what consumers want is a guide that helps them discover things that are important, things that are new, things that they're going to care about. In a sense, breaking the news in that category. I think as you look across categories, you'll see JetSetter certainly in the travel space. You also see things like Thrillist or an Urban Daddy, a Daily Candy, Tasting Table, a range of these kinds of newsletters, Daily D's, Company Post, all sort of focused on giving you a very narrow set of things, a short list in effect that matter in